Spoilers! I forgot to say that at the beginning earlier when I started the review, so I'm saying it now. Spoilers! Hey look, it's me talking about movies. I know you just want the video to start now because I just like the spoilers thing, but I want to say up front, in case you don't want to watch the whole video, which I know a lot of times people bail on my videos because they're too long. So I want to say right up front, go see this movie just for the last 45 seconds. Alright? Go see it just for the ending. And if you've seen it, don't spoil the ending, okay? Alright, okay, now the review is really going to start. Hey everybody, I saw Split, which is the new M. Night Shyamalan flick. Also, I'm drinking Dynamo from Meridian Hive Meadery. Hashtag Meridian Hive Meadery, support your local hive. So, Split is the new Shyamalan movie, and go see it if you haven't. Apparently it was like #1 this past weekend of new movies. Like a lot of the Oscar flicks are still getting traction. People want to see them before the show happens. But as far as new releases for the year is concerned, this is kind of the first big release aside from XXX, which people hate apparently. Didn't see that one yet. Anyway, here's the thing about M. Night Shyamalan. Stop it. Here's the thing about M. Night Shyamalan. His good movies from the beginning of his career, his big theme was always faith and belief. Whether it's the afterworld, or aliens, or believing in yourself, like in Unbreakable, or believing in superpowers, like in Unbreakable. That was kind of his big theme. It seems like he switched gears a bit, and his new theme kind of became grief. Or loss, because Lady in the Water is about something. But the main character, his family got murdered. The Happening is about like people fucking dying for no reason. And he seemed just kind of all over the place, sporadically making movies. His last one people seem to enjoy, The Visit, I think it's called, where the kids go to see Grandma. I didn't like that one so much, but I will admit it was better than like After Earth and Avatar and shit like that. So with some trepidation, I went into Split because multiple personality movie just sounds like a gimmick. However, I saw the trailer, I like James McAvoy, so let's go see a flick, shall we? First and foremost, James McAvoy is fucking great in this movie. He is the reason to see this movie. He gives a great performance, and he is multiple personality. I think we see five or six different personas. There is the creepy dude who's kidnapping the kids. That's the plot of the movie, is he kidnaps 3 girls, high school girls. His name is Dennis, and he's very much like firm. He looks kind of like Hank Hill. Very firm brow and arched eyebrows and just brr. There is a little boy personality named, or maybe it's a little girl, named Hedwig, and you know, he kind of speaks with a lisp, and hello guys. There is the dominant personality, Barry, one of those two, who is like a fashion designer who, he's not quite gay, but he's very metro and talks very fast, very confident, very, my roommate's shooting shit at me, very dominant, very like outward and going. He's the dominant personality. I think they say there's like 26 of them or 23 personalities inside this one guy. We also see a female character who's kind of like a stern, like fucking Mrs. McGonagall type character. So there's like a few different personalities. He jumps through them all the time, and he's convincing as fuck in all of them. And it's really creepy to watch him be all those different people. So the plot of the movie. Movie opens up with like a 16-year-old's birthday party, and there's that very ham-fisted Shyamalan dialogue where there's like everyone's having fun in the background, and like our main girl is sitting alone off to the side, kind of just like staring sadly that way, like something over there is sad. Cut to the main birthday girl, and she's like, and that's what happens when you have pity invites. She's always getting the detention at school. Like essentially she's like, hello audience, let me explain, that is the girl who isn't very popular. So I didn't want to invite her, but I had to because things. And anyway, so we got there's 3 girls. I don't remember any of their fucking names, so I'm gonna go by the blonde girl, the brunette girl, and the main girl. So Blondie and Brunette are best friends. They're gonna get a ride home with Blondie's dad. Brunette girl, who's weird and always getting detention, doesn't talk to anybody, her ride hasn't shown up. And dad, being a good dad, is like, well, we're not just gonna fucking leave her here, we're gonna take the bus. Come get a ride with us. As they're getting in the car in the parking lot, James McAvoy shows up in a very well-directed, creepy fucking sequence where you don't quite see what's going on, and it's all done with like the mirrors in the car. Very tense. Not jump scary, it's very just like deliberate, like he maces them in the face. Not maces, but like pepper spray, what's the fucking thing? Chloroforms them in the face, very methodically, and then the movie kind of goes off and running. Shyamalan is a great director. His writing can be fucking at times, but the man has a really good sense for visual set pieces. Even those of you out there who hate The Happening have to acknowledge the opening 15 minutes where people are just killing themselves is really creepy and cool and fucked up and weird and suspenseful. So, same thing here. It's not a found footage movie like The Visit was. This is a straight up, thriller, I guess you can call it. Not really a horror movie. So after that opening sequence where the 3 girls get kidnapped, we go into actually what are some cool opening titles, something I haven't said in years. # bring back opening credit sequences in movies. I miss those. So the plot is, these 3 girls are kidnapped, and what the fuck is going to happen to them, because they don't have any idea. Unless you've seen the trailer, you don't know that the main character is schizophrenic or multiple personality or dissociative disorder or whatever you want to call it. You don't know that, like, it's not very obvious right away. You just think a creepy guy kidnapped some girls. We meet a therapist who's living in Pittsburgh. Where do Shyamalan's movies take place, roommate? They're all on the same the Sixers. That's the basketball team.
I don't know.
Philadelphia. They all take place in Philadelphia. So we meet a very rich, psychiatrist lady who sees on the news these 3 girls have been kidnapped, their father's alive. So we know that people are out there looking for these girls. And we see James McAvoy come in and they're in the typical kidnap room. There's fucking bare rock walls and shitty cots and everything's just creepy looking, and the door looks like something out of Hostel. It's all wood and fucked up. He comes in and drags one of them away. And he says, I'm going to take you first. And you're like, oh, Jesus. And as she's being dragged out, the main girl gets really close to the camera and she's like, pee on yourself, pee on yourself. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? But anyone who's familiar with, potential rape avoidance, apparently peeing on yourself is a thing that can help, I guess. I definitely have heard that somewhere other than this movie. So, McAvoy doesn't rape the girl he took out. She goes back in and she's wet herself. So, from there we cut to the therapist, and James McAvoy shows up to get therapy, but he's not the guy we saw before. He's this very, charming, confident guy. Gary, whatever his name is. The fashion designer.
Jerry.
And she, the therapist right away is like, is something wrong? Because you emailed me. This isn't our usual time. And that's my biggest issue with the movie is, this bitch should have called the police, on day 2. Because it's a very formulaic, where something creepy happens where we see James McAvoy down in the murder torture basement with a new personality, and the girls don't get too fucked up. Cut to the therapist, and he shows up as Gary or Barry, telling her everything's fine. And then we go through the cycle again and again, and slowly but surely the girls kind of work their way, try to figure out a way out of that room. It's very repetitive, so by the 3rd time he shows up at her office, you're like, call the police, whether you know it or not. But he literally, during one of the sessions, she literally says, so Barry, I know you're the dominant personality, but there's this dentist person you've told me about who doesn't get to take control. They call it taking the light. Whoever gets the light gets to kind of have control of the body. Dennis and Joanne, that's the woman, the kind of McGonagall type stern woman personality. Those 2 aren't allowed to take the light anymore because they've got dangerous proclivities. For example, Dennis has a thing about watching young girls dance naked. She knows this. She knows girls have gone missing, and she knows her star patient with 22 personalities is acting really fucking weird. I really wish she would have called the police. But then we wouldn't have the movie we have. So, the main 3 girls are they're not dumbass teenage murder bait. You don't want them to die. They're industrious, they're stressed, and they yell shit at each other, but they try to get out of situations. They don't do anything too overtly stupid, besides some stuff that I would kind of understand. At one point, they're led out of their murder room into the kitchen to have an actual meal with the female persona, and her back is turned, or James McAvoy's back is turned as the female woman, and one of the girls picks up a wooden chair and fucking hits her with it. Hits McAvoy with it, and then fucking runs. And I'm like, no, you hit over and over again until the fucker is dead, then you run out. Instead, only gets hit once, and then a chase ensues, and blah, blah, blah. So eventually, all 3 girls are separated because the first one gets caught trying to escape, and she's bad, so she can't be part of it anymore. And the second girl gets caught trying to escape, and she's separated because she's bad. The whole thing is we're looking for good, pure girls because, and there's lots of dialogue about those who have suffered are the only good things, or the only good people in the world, and the beast is coming, and the beast is going to devour the good people. And you're like, what the hell is going on in this movie? McAvoy is really interesting and entertaining throughout, and creepy and weird. Early on, he's like the same guy, Dennis, the kidnappy personality, the one who likes to watch little girls dance for him. Early on, he's like, I need your shirt, there's dirt on it. And you think oh, he just wants to take her clothes off. But no, that personality legitimately has crazy OCD because when McAvoy was a little kid, his mother would beat the shit out of him, and the only way to keep her at bay was to make sure everything was meticulously clean. So his mind fraction created this very, very OCD, strong, forthright character to make sure everything was clean. So when he's taking away the t-shirts and the skirts and the sweaters from these girls, you can kind of see on his face that like it's not because he wants to expose them, he just hates dirt. It's interesting and compelling and fucking weird and unsettling and creepy. Speaking of weird and unsettling and creepy, I guess it's a little boy. The little boy persona, Hedwig, at one point is very friendly to them. And he's like, you guys are in trouble, but like, I wish the beast didn't have to come get you. And McAvoy is really funny in that particular persona. At one point with the last girl, who was the main girl, the one who was like, pee on him. He's with her at one point, and the other two have been sequestered away. So she knows that this kid might be her only way out because she understands quickly this guy's got problems. And by talking to his other personalities, maybe she can find a way out. So she's being nice to the little boy, little Hedwig personality. And out of nowhere, he's like, can we kiss? Like, I wanted to kiss the other girl, but she's in trouble now. And right away, she's like, yeah, we can kiss. And it's so fucking uncomfortable. Like, he's like, oh, okay. Like, he gets really nervous and shy. And then they sort of kiss. Like, they bump lips anyway in this fucking very awkward way. And then they pull back from the kiss, and McAvoy is just fucking staring at her. And she's staring back, terrified. And you're like, oh god, did he revert back to the other personality? Like, what's gonna happen now? Long, awkward beat, and he just goes, you might be pregnant now. And it got a really big laugh. Like, that kid isn't an evil kid. Not all of his personalities are fucked up, just like 3 of them. So, who is the beast? What is the beast? What's happening? What's gonna happen in this fucking movie? What is the twist? We see the therapist talk to, like, a colleague of hers, and she gives, like, a Skype interview to, like, an auditorium full of people about psychiatry because she's trying to put across the idea that people with DID, they keep calling it, which I'm assuming is a dissociative disorder, people who have that have been known to do remarkable things. For example, people who, like, don't speak foreign languages, in their other foreign language, they know fluently fucking Spanish or French. A woman who was, in the movie anyway, they say, a woman who was blind had DID, and her other personalities could see, and she, like, grew her fucking retinas back. Shit like that. People are capable, like, you know, personalities have different physical strengths, you know. The little boy character in this movie can't push a door open very hard. The other guy can. Therapist talks about one personality was able to lift, like, 7 times their body weight because that personality was a bodybuilder. Their belief, once again, we're back to belief with Shyamalan, their belief in who they were was so strong, they were able to overcome their physical limitations. And her idea was that maybe these aren't just psychological things, but like actual legitimate biological things happening because of a psychological disorder. Like James McAvoy has got 23 personalities, one of whom needs insulin shots. That one personality has diabetes. Things like that. So I'm watching the movie. Sorry, my roommate is listening to me give this interview, and he just gave me this look like, what the fuck? It's a weird flick, but I'm watching...
Science?
Yeah, science. I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, where is this going? What's it leading to? What the fuck? And I'd heard something about how the twist in this is a good twist, and there's also kind of a second twist that you don't see coming. So, the Beast. Who is the Beast? This thing that's going to be coming to devour the girls. The Beast apparently is another, like the 24th, the hidden personality inside of the main McAvoy character. And this dude is like way taller than Dennis and stronger, and he can like climb walls because he's got such a strong grip. He can find every nook and cranny in any wall and like climb walls. He can rip bars apart. He's this fucking like beast of a human. So the psychiatrist receives like 14 emails, and it's like 601, 602, 603, 603, 603, 604, 605, and they're all from Barry, and they all just say, urgent, need help. Because the other personalities, who are not like the creepy kidnappy guy, or the weird woman, or the little boy, who are like kind of all in cahoots together to make the Beast come forth. The other personalities are like, we just want to live our life. Like, we're all aware of the fact that we have multiple personality disorder. Like, the way it's described is, inside this guy's head, there are 23 seats, and there is a beam of light. And some people get to control the light at some times, some don't. And the most dominant personality generally gets to control who has the light. So it's like, he's broken, but functional. He has a job, he's okay. And these 3 fucked up personalities have taken over because they want to bring the Beast forth. So occasionally, while Dennis, who's the kidnapped personality, is taking a nap or whatever, one of the other personalities will fucking quickly take the light and send fucking frantic emails to the shrink. Just occurred to me now, I probably could have just called the cops, but fuck it. So the shrink finally goes to track down McAvoy's place. And the whole time you're like, where is this? Like, you know it's kind of related to his work. There's comments about, like, you've worked there for a while. There's comments where he says, the people who work here can't know you're here. But it's like this long, like, maze of tunnels and cages and doors and fucked up offices. You're like, what the fuck is this place? So eventually, the woman, the therapist, shows up, sees the McAvoy character. There's a great moment in the therapist office where she's like, I don't think I'm talking to Barry, the fashion designer. I think I'm talking to Dennis. And if you are, just know that, like, I know why you were created. I know that you were made to protect a little boy. Even though you have some bad thoughts, you're not wrong. I don't want to hurt you. And McAvoy fucking changes into Dennis. And it's a really moving piece of acting. So she tracks him down. Dennis is there. She goes into his fucked up little murder maze thing. And he's like, yeah, my boss is like, I have an apartment over there, but they said I can use this because it's unused, and I like it better down here. And it's kind of hinted at that, like, being in that fucked up dark maze has kind of made him worse. But he feels like he has to live there because society doesn't understand him. So he likes to be away. Doesn't want to be out in the world too much. He just wants to stay in this place. And she very quickly is like, something is wrong. Something is so wrong. Please tell me about the Beast. And that's where McAvoy explains to her what the Beast is and tells her it's not a fantasy. It's not like a thing that all of her personalities are scared of. It's real and it's coming. I'm going to transform into this strong, murderous, climb up walls, fucking beast of a thing. That's happening. And she's like, okay, well, I believe you. We can talk about it tomorrow. I'm really excited, actually. This is going to be great for my book or whatever. Just, where's the bathroom? And then she finds the girls passed out. They've been there for like 3 days. And McAvoy is like, oh, I wish you hadn't done that, and fucking knocks her out with the fucking spray. Then he goes to a train station, which is where the Beast is born. Because the main guy, McAvoy's real personality, his father abandoned him at a train station. So, he goes to a train station, the music, the score gets going, like, the montage starts of, like, him at the train station, the girls in all 3 rooms trying to escape, very fucking tense, close-up shots of, like, a coat hanger trying to grab a lock. Cut, like, okay, what the fuck's going on? Whatever it is gonna happen now! And on the train, you see McAvoy take his shirt off in silhouette and kind of go out of frame and then step back up, and he's not, like, it's not like he's a giant or anything, but like he just looks fucking tougher. And then he fucking starts running down this deserted subway car. Opens a door, climbs up like fucking Spider-Man, but not like actually Spider-Man, like just a dude who can climb, like a human, and then starts hauling ass through the streets of Philadelphia. And you're like, oh god, fucking, okay, I guess it worked. He makes it back. The lady woke up and starts writing on a piece of paper, say his name, because the way to make everything stop, apparently, is to say his original name, which was Kevin something something. If you say his full name, that'll make all the personalities coalesce back into one. It'll be terrible for him because all the therapy he's gone through, and more importantly, all the work his brain has done to make him be functional will be ruined, but he'll be back to being the fucked up little kid he was. So she's writing that down when the Beast shows up, and it's McAvoy, but like he's got these fucking popping veins. He's still the same size, but like he just looks fucking roided out. Not CGI, it's just like really good makeup. And he wraps his arms around the old woman and just fucking squeezes her to death. Ugh. So the main girl she found a nail earlier in the movie because, of course, she found a nail. She manages to get out of her little room, and she's in the next like antechamber where there's a computer which won't connect to the internet, but it's got a bunch of video diaries of all the different personalities, and McAvoy is a fucking tour de force for McAvoy, talking to the camera, much like this. And all of his various characters, and you see him be like, I'm not sure what's happening. I think I might be losing time. This is really scary, but I'm just going to go to work. And he says, like, I'm just going to go for a walk. And he goes, and, you know, she's in the same room where the video is being recorded. He goes over here to, like, a coat hook, grabs a hat, and under the hat is the keys. So she's like, oh, fuck, and gets the keys and opens the door and goes to the other rooms where she knows her friends are, and she opens them up. And very quickly, PG-13 movie, so not really a lot of gore, sees the dead girl, and like there's just fucking like her stomach's just been ripped to pieces, like ugh, slams the door, opens up the other door, and we get blonde girl, and she's like, help, and then dragged out of frame. And then because it's stupid, the main girl doesn't run away, she peeks her head in, and you see the fucking Beast McAvoy eating, like, you know, there's a frame, he's like this, like just barely out of frame. He's just fucking eating these girls alive. Very fucking creepy. So she goes to haul ass, all the other doors are locked, she finds the note, says his name, he goes back to being himself, but then the other personalities start to take over again. And another amazing tour de force performance from McAvoy where he's like jumping from personality to personality to personality to personality, trying to get a hold of this. And Dennis, the kidnapped personality, is like, you don't understand, this is the next thing, this is what we have to do. And then he flips out of it and it's like another, like a New York black woman is what it sounds like. And she's like, no, don't listen to that fool. We just want to do work. Don't judge us based on them. Blah, I am the beast. You know, that kind of shit starts happening. It sounds silly, but they earned it at this point, I think. It's a really good piece of acting. The beast comes back, and so begins what's stupid, long. The movie's over, but we have to have a chase through a thing. Which now leads to how the bad guy gets beaten. So the twist, I suppose, is it's not bullshit. People who have multiple personalities with different physical attributes can evolve to the next plane. So this guy has been able to evolve to a point where he can fucking bend steel bars and climb on the wall. A very creepy shot of him climbing up a wall with like very little, like small divots. So that's the twist, I guess. Throughout the movie, we've been getting flashbacks to the main girl when she was a little kid going camping with her daughter. With her mother, I'm sorry. She's like 5 years old, camping with her father and her uncle. And we know, like, okay, she knows how to use a gun because her dad taught her. We know she knows how to hunt and survive because her dad taught her. We also know something's fucking wrong with her because she goes to detention all the time and because she said something about, like, pee on him, so something has happened. In these flashbacks, at one point, her dad is sleeping, her uncle and her are on the camping trip in the woods, and the uncle's like, let's play our game, let's be animals, and he's, like, in his boxers, and he's like, take your clothes off, you know, be an animal, and you're like, ah, shit, it's that plot twist, that's that thing. She was abused by her uncle as a kid. Then we go to another flashback later in the movie, and the uncle's like, I just raped a little girl, it's that kind of thing. And then cut to the main girl as a like 5-year-old holding the shotgun pointing at her uncle. And I'm like, oh my god, that'd be awesome if she murdered her uncle as a little girl, and that's why she's traumatized. But instead, she doesn't in the flashback. But at least we know that she's been in a situation before where she's had to have a shotgun pointed at an attacker, which is where we are at the end of the movie. She's locked herself in a cage, Beast McAvoy's out there talking about like, you are weak, I had to eat them, I am the next evolution, those who've never been tortured, those who haven't experienced pain, don't understand. Throughout the movie, she's been taking shirts off because they keep getting dirty. And it was a nice bit of good screenwriting, which is that like she's got like layers on layers because she was abused as a kid. So she's got like a tank top, like a bra. She's got like a sweater over a t-shirt, over a thinner shirt, over a tank top, over an undershirt, over a bra. Just layer, 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 layer. Finally, she's down to just like her ripped fucking tank top. Her leg's been bitten by fucking Beast McAvoy. And he sees on her stomach that she's got a shitload of cut marks. She's a cutter. And he like stops trying to attack her. He's like ripping the fucking bars open. He smiles very creepily and he's like, oh, you are one of the chosen. You have been through pain. And that's where I was like, ew, this is weird. I mean, I like the idea that because you've been through trauma, that can make you stronger. But it felt like, because it's a good thing that girl was raped by her uncle, because now she can survive this fucking weird situation. It just felt icky. In the same way Signs feels icky, where it's like, it's a good thing my wife got murdered, or got killed by God, so I knew how to stop the fucking water aliens. It's that kind of reveal where you're just like, ugh. So he just fucking leaves. Beast McAvoy's like, you're cool, you're one of us, bye, and he fucking bolts. Next morning, somebody finds her. We finally figure out where we are, which is under a zoo, so that's where the Beast came from. McAvoy's been hanging out with all these animals. He's a maintenance man at a zoo. And he's created this persona of himself, which he sees as like the pinnacle of like existence. It's, you know, strong like this, can climb walls like that, can eat flesh, blah, blah, blah. She's sitting in the car, police car. Damn it, the battery died. I'm gonna have to charge it and finish it later. Welcome back, the battery died, as you just saw. In the meantime, I played a game of beer pong and I lost, so this is my, I lost beer pong cup of beer. So, she's out, it's a zoo, McAvoy ran off, she's in a police car. The officer says, hey, her guardian is here. And you're like, oh shit, that means that she's still with the uncle. During one of the flashbacks, which I forgot to mention earlier, we find out that her father died from a heart attack. So she was raised by her uncle. But you hope that maybe she, like, told the police or murdered him or something. But they say, she's in the back of the car, hey, her guardian is here. And they open the police car door and she's got a shock blanket. Sherlock reference. And The officer's like, hey, your uncle's here. Didn't you hear me? Your uncle's here. And then she just kind of like, the actress, by the way, the girl who plays the main girl is really good. None of these performances are bad. The psychiatrist lady, the old psychiatrist lady who got like squeezed to death and her fucking bones broken. Pretty cool scene, actually. She used to be on Broadway, big Broadway star. McAvoy, like I said, kills it the whole way through. So really good cast. None of that like, what? No, like none of that. Marky Mark, fucking happening acting. Really good fucking performances throughout. So, hey, your uncle's here. Didn't you hear me? And the girl, main girl, just kind of gives her this fucking like steady, determined look, and you realize like, oh, she's probably, they never show it, but like it's intimated that she's finally going to tell the police what her uncle's been doing to her, presumably fucking forever. I don't know that he'd stopped at any point. So I guess like that's the end of her story, and I guess the end of the movie, right? Because McAvoy got away. She's a trauma survivor, so she gets to keep living. The big twist is that like he is able to fucking become this fucking physical beast and climb walls and fucking bend bars and eat human beings. So yeah, movie's pretty much over. That was the big reveal, and her big culminating moment is after facing down this monster and seeing what, I don't know what the fuck, it doesn't really fit thematically, but whatever, it's very heavily implied that she's going to finally tell, and her fucking shithead uncle is gonna go to prison. Well, maybe, because it's America, and just because a girl said she got raped doesn't mean she got raped, right? Anyway, I don't want to get political. I've had some beer. Anyway, it's intimated she's gonna fucking tell the police what her uncle's been doing to her whole life. So, before I get to the thing at the end, which is probably why everyone's watching, if you've seen the movie anyway, if you heard anything about it, I want to say a couple things I forgot to mention. One, why doesn't the old woman who gets like knocked out, why doesn't she, when she wakes up and sees him before she dies, why doesn't she immediately just say his name, Kevin, whatever the fuck his name is? I forgot to mention it's because she's chloroformed out. Why doesn't she call the police earlier in the movie? There's one throwaway line that I guess sort of justifies it, which is, she says, I've seen so many of my patients caught by the system and forgotten about. So maybe the idea is that like she doesn't call the police because she's hoping that he isn't guilty of anything, and that she doesn't want to lose him. She wants him to be better. He is a good person. There's just some broken fucking personalities inside of him that want to, you know, murder 16-year-old girls and eat them. So she doesn't call the police because she doesn't want him to be lost in the system and not treated. She wants to help him. But the moment she sees that he is a fucking monster, she tries to do something and gets chloroformed and then squeezed to death. Other thing is, it's a PG-13 movie. I know I've described a whole bunch of horrific shit, from child rape to teenagers being eaten to all kinds of weird shit. It's PG-13. It's not very gory at all. I don't mind it being PG-13. I didn't really need to see anything else. Like, no, thank you, I'm good. I don't need to see any more child rape or teens being eaten. Because it's not like a 80s fun. We're rooting for the killer. These fucking dumb bimbo teenagers. Like, they're real people. All good performances. So it's not like it's fun to watch them die. The one issue I have is that after he's eaten the girls and he's in that scene I described earlier where he's bouncing around from personality to personality, I wish his face was covered in blood. Just because you can't just bite into a live human being and then not have blood on your face. But, PG-13. So, I told my friend, my roommate, that this movie has a twist of sorts, and it's got a reveal. So, halfway through the movie, when they're talking about, when she's giving her lecture to the auditorium about what if these other personalities, where people can lift up cars and they can grow their retina back for certain personalities and they can do these things, what if that's the next step in evolution? Like what if people with disabilities are actually not lesser than us, they're more than us? And I started thinking, this kind of sounds like Unbreakable. I wonder if they're doing some kind of thing here. I wonder if Shyamalan's doing a thing here. When she described the idea of somebody who can lift so much fucking weight, even though he shouldn't be allowed to do that, I thought about the amazing scene in Unbreakable where Bruce Willis is lifting like 580 pounds, even though he just looks like regular old Bruce Willis. So, we have a supervillain by the end of the movie, the Beast. Or, as they refer to him in the movie, not the Legion. They refer to him as like the others. I can't remember what the fuck it's called, but essentially I'm gonna call him the Beast. That's a better name anyway. So the Beast he's a human being who can climb walls, bend bars, like bend steel. He eats human beings. He's fucking crazy. So we have a villain at the movie as the movie ends. She's in the police car and she's gonna tell the police, I got raped, presumably. Cut to McAvoy alone, and he's back to his three main personalities. The kidnapper guy, the lady, the prim and proper McGonagall type lady, and the little kid. And he's jumping around from the three of them are having a conversation. And he's like, oh my God, like he was right. He let us, we're free, we are strong now. And the woman is like, yes, because we have to trust in him. And the little kid's like, holy shit, this is awesome. Like, what do we do now? We have to believe in him. We have to follow in the beast. Fade to black. Or cut to black, I should say, and then a very familiar piece of music starts happening. And it's kind of hip-hoppy, kind of thrillery, and it's that like that kind of theme. And anyone who knows Unbreakable immediately goes, I fucking knew it, which is what I had in my head. It's the same music that plays when Bruce Willis is in the train station at the end of Unbreakable, and he starts being able to sense all these criminals. Like, you know, essentially he ends up going back to the house to save the two girls. It's the Unbreakable music. It's the superhero thing. So that music starts playing. We fade up on a diner. The news is on, and it's like, two girls have been murdered by a patient who's known to have multiple personalities. The press is referring to him as the Beast, the Other, the Legion, whatever the fuck they call him. He's out there and at large, yada, yada, yada. Music's still going, the camera's going, it's amazing, long, steady cam shot, atmosphere out the ass. You're just like, oh my God, something's coming. And there's a dude sitting at the diner, sitting at the bar, at the counter. The camera pans over, and then there's these two girls, a woman, walking, sitting at the counter, and behind them, barely in frame, is the guy. And they're talking like, oh, they're watching this, they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, this is kind of like that wheelchair guy that they arrested a few years ago. They gave him a weird name too. What was it? And then Bruce Willis leans into frame and he's like, they called him Mr. Glass. And he's got the David Dunn, like he's still working as a security guard. Cut to black. Fuck yes! Fuck, I don't know if you can hear my friends laughing. They don't want to hear spoilers, throw them on the balcony. Anyway, fuck yes! They're doing it. Like, after years, they're finally doing part 2, hopefully. Now, it's Shyamalan, so maybe he's a fucking dick, and it's just like, no, it's just a little thing at the end, but his next movie better fucking be Unbreakable 2, The Beast, or whatever the fuck. Like, oh my God, I am so on board for that. I want to see that happen. I want to see Robin Wright Penn come back as Bruce Willis' wife. I want to see Samuel L. Jackson come back in a Hannibal Lecter type role where he's like in prison and like, you know, he's been incarcerated for his crimes, but now he has to like give advice to David Dunn, Bruce Willis' character, about like there's this new fucking thing out there. I want to see the dude who can lift all the weight and punch through walls. I want to see Bruce Willis' Unbreakable character. I want to see that guy get into a fight with the Beast. Holy shit, I am so fucking on board. Yes, so the movie is like a 6.5, 7 out of 10. Like, it's okay. It's not a bad flick at all. It's a little silly. The performances really carry it through. It's slightly overlong. Goes on a little more than it has to. It's a little icky at times, but in theory, like, essentially, it's a pretty solid thriller. The last 15 seconds? Fuck yes. Oh my God. Yes. I am so on board. Oh my God. And it's making money, so, like, go see it. Tell your friends to go see it because I want Unbreakable 2. Which, say what you want to about Shyamalan, but to me, Unbreakable's a fucking masterpiece. With no qualifications. Like, I like The Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense is a good movie. I think Unbreakable is legitimately a fucking masterpiece. Like, it's up there with, like, The Incredibles and Avengers as, like, a perfect fucking superhero movie. I love Unbreakable so fucking much. Watch it at least once a year. It is spectacularly good. And the notion that he finally did the thing... boy, oh boy, I really hope that happens. So, yeah, anyway, that's all I got to say. Follow me on Twitter, George Efta. Maybe it's George E. Efta. My name is George Efta, so fucking find me on Twitter. Find me on Facebook, George Efta. Instagram, I think it might be Kip Carson37 is my Instagram. Follow me on the Instagrams. In the comments below, please feel free to tell me your favorite Shyamalan movies, your worst Shyamalan movies, favorite superhero movies, maybe. Try not to spoil it for those who haven't seen it. I'm so excited. I really hope it happens. That's all I got to say about Split. Thanks, guys. And gals.